Welcome everyone to Stadium Journey's Obstructed Views. We're on a roll with these again. Look at that. The show where a couple of guys in a couple of countries drink a couple of beers and discuss the stadium somewhere in the world and their experiences there. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
And we're excited to have you here with us once again tonight. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the Stadium Journey YouTube channel with our fancy new logo. Someone snuck in there. Like the video and leave a comment if you're so inclined. And be sure to check out stadiumjourney.com for all of our fantastic content, including the review of this here ballpark we're going to talk about today. So let's get started. Dave, what are you drinking tonight?
So I think maybe this would be a place I would rather be right now because I'm sure you guys are in the same boat. It's like stupid hot. We were down in Georgia and looked back at the temperature at home, and it was almost the same. That's just wrong.
Indeed.
So anyway, I think maybe I'd rather be on Prince Edward Island right now. The federal government just announced today that instead of $50 to cross the bridge, it's going to be only $20. So maybe I went at the wrong time. So anyway.
Wait a minute. It costs $50 to cross the bridge into Prince Edward Island?
No. It costs $50 to leave. Free to go.
Come on in, no problem.
I
can't complain about the bridge to go to New York then.
Yeah, no, they just announced that as part of the new interprovincial cooperation thing. Anyway, Prince Edward and I are brewing. I have a beach chair lager, which is this is a Paul Baker. This has got Paul Baker screaming on it. It's very pilsnery, very light, very, very lager. Very good.
And it's even got an Adirondack chair on the cover there.
I don't know what they call them out there. They actually might call those Adirondack chairs, but in Ontario, it's a Muskoka chair.
We had this discussion before. That's why I bring it up.
Yes. What do you got?
I am also got a beer from a place I'd rather be. Not as exotic as Prince Edward Island, which I hear is fantastic. I always wanted to go there. I'm from the exotic land of Kingsborough, Massachusetts, right on the New Hampshire border. So New Hampshire's a fun place to be. Anyway, I have an Opportunity Kolsch beer. So as you can see, it's kind of I don't know. It's a door. The door is open, so Opportunity has knocked, I suppose. Good. So yeah, when I see this beer and it's called Opportunity, one joke immediately comes to mind. I think of The Simpsons and that line, Dad, the Chinese have two words for opportunity. Or they have the same word for crisis as they do for opportunity. And Homer thinks for a second and he goes, yes, Christotunity. Anyway, that's why I have a Kolsch. And once again, like you were saying of your beer, this is also very light beer, very summery, very drinkable. As the youngsters would say, it's crushable. So if we were visiting today's destination, I don't think the beer we would be having would be very crushable because we might be drinking a Beats by Request Pilsner. Why is it called Beats by Request? It's BEETS because it's a Pilsner infused with the glorious flavor of beets. And that is brewed at Little Fish Brewing because today we're talking about Air Ballpark in Dayton, Ohio, home of the Dayton Dragons. Before we dive in, let's take a look at the Stadium Vitals. Okay, the Dayton Dragons in Air Ballpark, and you cannot have a conversation about the Dayton Dragons without talking about the streak. And we're not talking about that Ray Stevens song from 1974. We're talking about their incredible sellout streak, Dave.
Yeah, it is pretty incredible. I think what you've got the numbers that are a little bit more recent, but I want to say it's 24 seasons.
Now, this is not counting the pandemic season. That's excluded for good reason.
Yeah. It's like over 1,500 games straight sold out. It's the longest streak in professional sports. Like second is the Portland Trailblazers at like 800 and something.
Which is less than half as long or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I did the most recent review that is up on our site because I just visited there a few weeks ago. Now, you may choose to debate the validity of the sellout streak, as people do with any kind of long sellout streak, because, as with any kind of attendance numbers, are you talking about butts in seats? Are you talking
Mhm.
about tickets sold? And numbers get fudged here, there, and everywhere. So I can tell you that when I was just there in early July, it was either late June or early July. I don't know off the top of my head, can't remember. I think it was early July, first week of July. Anyway, there was not a butt in every seat. So if you're judging a sellout by that measure, it was not sold out. But you know what? Close enough that I guarantee you every ticket to that game was sold. There were
Mhm.
people everywhere. So incredible crowd for single A baseball, no doubt about it. And this is not your typical 3,000 seat single A ballpark. This is a pretty good sized ballpark that could probably house a double A team.
Yeah, its capacity is over 8,000. Now that's including like your berm seating. So about 7,000, I think it's 7,200 seated. So that's a very healthy uh A level
Mm,
stadium. Two decks, not not common for that level, I would
not
say.
at all.
You know what I find interesting about it is the why. Why is this? Why do they have this streak, this success? It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I would say that this is not an old team, right? Like they've been in Dayton since like 2000.
This is their 25th season.
So, the kids might say, "Wow, they've been there forever." You and I are like, it's only been since 2000. That's not that long. Uh, and maybe you can help me with the timing on this. I think that they were kind of at the beginning of a real change in minor league baseball. And maybe I don't have the timing right, but if you look at the previous iteration of the Dragons, they were the Rockford fill in the blanks. They were the Expos, they were the Royals, they were
Right.
a bunch of pro team names. And we all know those, right? The Braves, all their teams were the Braves and
Yeah.
all these other the Reds and whatnot. I feel that the Dayton Dragons were kind of at the beginning of a couple things. Number one, this is our identity. We are not we are an affiliate, but we are not just the baby Reds. The other thing I think is that they really focused on what's not on the field. And from a minor league standpoint, what's on the field, you have the least control over, right? Especially now with everything changing, the minor league team doesn't decide on anything. It decides on zero players now. A few
Right.
years ago, they had a little bit of decision making. They got to hire coaches and whatnot. Now, nothing. It's all run
Right.
by the Major League Baseball team. So, what do you control? Well, you control your promotions, you control your mascots, you control the vibe that you have, you control all of that other stuff. And when you have a product where you don't control what's on the field or how good it is, and that product is changing constantly, right? So probably in the neighborhood of 80% of the players for the Dragons this year will be gone one way or another. They'll be gone
Yes.
the out or they'll be gone the up. Maybe there's a few stragglers. So the players are constantly changing. Well, focus there on the experience. Family fun, promotions. Oh my gosh, promotions. It seemed like there were promotions coming out of the ears. Always, always, always. And, I really got a sense of it at the beginning. Like before I even walked in, I went with my son. We were on the way back from a baseball tournament. He was excited because it was baseball that wasn't his. And the Dragons are the affiliate of the Reds, which is his favorite team. And we were there stupid early because that's what I do.
Us
Uh,
baseball geeks are all the same.
yeah.
Yes.
But outside the stadium, there was like a whole lot going on. There was all these games and stuff, cornhole, and the mascots were out, and like the promotional tables with companies
Yeah.
offering samples of whatnot, and stuff that you would see at a lot bigger things at like maybe a college football kind of game, although that's very organic and this was not. I think back to when we went to Minnesota for soccer. They had all of this kind of pregame stuff happening, or
Yeah.
pre-match.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing in Crawford Square there.
Yeah, the
All
ballpark's
that
not
kind of
just
stuff.
the park. There is a central meeting area. There's a good place to hold pregame activities, tailgating, if you will. It's not they don't tailgate there, but Crawford Square, which is named after a city leader, first black city councilman in the history of Dayton. He was a city servant for almost 30 years in a variety of different positions. They named the square after him, and they set up shop, like you said. A lot of sponsors, bands, music, giveaways. There was the local brewery was there the day I came, and unfortunately they weren't giving away samples, but they were giving away stuff. So all kinds of stuff going on there if you get there early.
Yeah, and it just changes that focus, right? Like, of course we're going for baseball and we like baseball and whatnot, but I mean, you see this when you go and we travel all over these places. You know, I might look back in 5 years and say, "Oh yeah, I saw that guy who's a major leaguer now." But going in, I don't have the foggiest clue who any of these guys are, right?
Right.
Maybe you've heard of like a Paul Skeens. Not that Paul Skeens played for Dayton, but in that sense. But these are all unknown guys, so you can't focus on promoting this player because this player's gone next year, right? It has to be so much more than that.
Yeah.
And just the idea of being more than the baseball game is a really kind of interesting one to start with.
It's funny working for an independent level team right now, as I do, and having a lot of experience in minor league baseball, trying to get that message through to the kids who are starting and trying to impress on them the product on the field is actually the least important thing to the people attending the games. That's the least important part of your job. The most important thing that we do is the show, everything around it. And the show, Dayton does as good as anybody.
Yeah, you know what, I liked a lot of the little things and I get into this the little banners that are around there
Mm-hmm.
with big things and I like in a minor league park when I could go and say, hey, I've heard of that guy. They had this one, like guys who coached for the Dragons who were like Reds legends, Tom
Yeah.
Browning and Chris Sabo and whatnot. I was like,
Yep.
I've heard of those guys. I kind of like that. Or there was a banner for the biggest attendance or game, and then there was one for like the first game at the ballpark or whatever, and a bunch of streak stuff and whatnot. A lot of little kind of aesthetic stuff, but I mean, to me, like you walk in, you feel like, oh, okay, this is the home of this team. This is the home of the Dragon. It's not this kind of bland sports facility that a bunch of teams playing or
Yep.
whatnot. And I'm sure there's some high school baseball that happens there, college baseball or whatever.
There is a
Uh,
college team that does use the ballpark too, I think.
the scoreboard, I love the scoreboard because it's got the big dragons on top
Yep.
that blow the smoke when something good happens. The eyes light up all red and a little kitschy kind of thing.
And
Uh,
part of the stuff they do during the game, like a lot of teams do like this dance on the dugout.
yep,
Like seventh inning stretch or taking off the ball game, they do a dance, or some teams will do a Cotton Eye Joe. The Dragons have choreographed routines on top of the dugout. This isn't just something they throw together and the interns just go up there and do something. They have actual routines involving mascots and the on-field MC and a bunch of the interns who actually you could tell they've had to sit down and rehearse, stand up and rehearse and practice their moves on top of the dugouts. And it's not just one; it's a couple throughout the game. And then the on-field conga line that they pull people out of the stands and they do this conga line across the field. That was pretty entertaining.
nice.
They also pull they involve the fans like it's the 25th season. They've got some mosaic banners saying 25 years, but if you look a little closer at the banners, it's all little pictures of season ticket holders that they put together to make this banner. So
Nice.
touches like that tie fans in, tie that streak in, like you're saying, and really make this single A team a real big part
Yeah.
of the community.
How many times have you been to a ball game when they do the little dance thing after take me out to the ball game and the interns are up there and you're like, and you could just see it. They're like,
They
oh
don't want
God,
to be there.
this is the worst part of my job.
Um, as the one who has to call the interns to the top of the dugout before they have to dance, and sometimes one shows up. Oh yeah, it's the word. It's the part they hate the most. But these people were into it, and it was a what. I was sitting up there. I had upper deck seats, so I had first row upper deck. It was very annoying that the upper deck had a big walking space in front, so it was like Fenway Park. People walk in front of me the whole time. But
Oh,
that's neither
okay.
here nor there. It's just an unfortunate spot part of the seat I took. But the first thing I said to Pam was like, "That's just not them dancing. That's a choreographed thing." And so that was really cool.
The green team.
Yeah,
That's their promo crew, the green team. And
three mascots. Yeah.
hey, having a little identity like that, yeah,
Hmm.
that's neat. Um, the ballpark itself, maybe it's we're spoiled or whatever. I mean, at this point, it's like it doesn't wow me. It was good ballpark. Um, you know, I I thought it was good. Nothing that really turned me off.
There is a big construction project going on right now on the left field side, the third base side. They're taking a big part of the last couple sections on the upper deck and a couple of the luxury boxes, and they're going to be enclosing that, making it a function room and a 24, well, not 24 hour, 12-month a year function room and space where they can host parties and guests and rent that out. Another income source and another higher end area for fans.
Nice. On the baseball side, you know what I do like is that it is the wonkiest sort of outfield going. Like there's I
And
this past
not just for us trying to do our 360 lap.
yeah. For having been at baseball tournaments and it's been like this symmetrical. I'm a little tired of the symmetrical because I see it all the time now, and there are all these little inlets and juts, and this part of the wall is higher and this part of the wall is lower, and ins and outs, and
You like your nooks and crannies, do you?
it looks like somebody once said that the most exciting play of baseball is a triple. It looks like it is triple heaven.
Yeah, yeah. You got to love those weird angles because that's how you get your triples in your inside the park home runs because the ball will hit off a weird angle and jut past an outfielder who's charging at it.
Yeah, yeah. But I think what sometimes we forget this. People like you and I who are travelers and we jet in and jet out, and maybe we take in a little bit of downtown or whatever, but we're not there for game 2 or game 3 or anything like that. And that really has to be the focus of what the team is all about, right? Like, sure, we
Repeat
like
customers.
we like people like us, but you really got to catch that local group, that local fan base, and have them keep coming back, right? And not just I went once last year and I'll go again next year, and you need them to come out 10, 15 times a day. You need or
Yep.
a
Yep.
day, a year, a season. You need people to be able to say, you know what, it's a nice night out. I could stay home and watch the Reds on television, but you know what, they're not really good.
Or even if they are.
Don't tell my son I said that. No, actually, they're thinking about being good this year. Um, but yeah, I want to go out and have a couple beers and be outside, and it just a good experience. And thankfully, this place is no longer a Fifth Third ballpark because there were way too many of those.
Yes, it is now a day Air Ballpark.
Which is it's a bank as well. Credit union.
Who else is going to sponsor these ballparks, right?
No idea. Not me.
And you know what? We talked a lot both on the big podcast and other places on Stadium Journey about the old rationale that if you build a ballpark in a downtown area, it's going to revitalize the area. And most of the time, that is just a big pile of malarkey. And there have been books written about it, and there are websites dedicated to it. But man, in Dayton, it worked.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with what Dayton was like before. I will say it's got a healthy little area around the ballpark. I mean, to me, Dayton is always going to be the first four, right? Those first
Yeah.
games of the basketball tournament. Who knows what's going to happen going forward?
Once they expand the tournament to
Yeah,
128 teams.
yeah. I feel like you and I could just go out and have a team and be brought into this tournament the way they keep expanding it. You know.
As long as they play by the Elam rules, we
Yeah.
have a shot.
Yeah. uh, so yeah, I mean, I always think of the University of Dayton and the first four, which I've experienced. Great time. Um, there's an interesting sort of aviation kind of piece to Dayton. I'm not really sure why, but there's a big Air Force museum, aeronautical museum just outside of Dayton, and there was something about the Wright brothers there as well. I'm not sure
Yeah,
what.
they have a museum there as well. I don't know what they did in Dayton. A flight history buff will have to mention in the comments what's
Comments.
there, like how I tied that in. But yeah, there's two really good aviation museums in the Dayton area. Cincinnati's 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
And for a unique view of Day Air Ballpark, and I didn't get to experience this. We looked at it, we thought about it, but we ended up going somewhere else. There's a hotel right across the street. So ballpark's here, first base side. There's a hotel right here, the AC Hilton, I believe it is. There is a rooftop bar and restaurant where you can
Nice.
sit up on the rooftop bar on the roof. Well, where else would a rooftop bar be? There. Um, but you can sit up there and look right down into the ballpark. And so we thought very seriously about leaving the game a little bit early and heading on up there and checking out an inning or two from up there. But instead, we stayed for the whole game and went to the local dive bar right across the street and had some good beer and food there anyway. So
Nice.
yeah, a lot of choices for eating and drinking afterwards. So as I don't know who wrote, I can't recall off the top of my head who wrote the book Field of Schemes. I don't know if the overall economic
Neil DeMoss.
Thank you. We wanted to desperately wanted to get on our podcast. Too big a name for our podcast, though. But I don't know if the total economic impact to Dayton was that it brought dollars into the city or if it just shifted those dollars around. But the area around the ballpark did grow and develop. So you got that. And does the streak show any signs of ending? Doesn't look like it. So, but tickets are available. We got our tickets a couple of weeks in advance, so you still can get tickets. It's not like you get shut out like in the heyday of the streak. You had to plan way ahead, so you can plan a little bit ahead and be fine. And it's definitely worth the trip. And among the pantheon of AA ballparks, it's got to be considered right up near the top.
Well, I considering it's a high A ballpark and not a double A ballpark.
Did I say AA?
You did, yes. Yeah. No,
Well,
it's I honestly the Midwest League is probably one of my favorite leagues. I
indeed.
really enjoyed a lot of the I enjoyed I haven't been to every one, but I think about 4 or 5, but I've enjoyed all of the ones that I've been there.
Yeah, we were talking about. We've passed the halfway point of the Midwest League. We've been to I think 8, and not a clunker in the. Well, we went to the old Pullman Field, but otherwise not a clunker in the bunch. So our look at Day Air Ballpark, home of Dayton Dragons. Hope you enjoyed hanging out with us. We hope to see you on the road again real soon. Cheers.
Cheers.